So if you think of an iceberg, typically if you're in a ship, you see the top of the iceberg above the ocean. However, very often the iceberg is massive, and if you go below the ocean, there is a massive mass of ice that is beneath the ocean that you cannot see. So you're only seeing the very, very top of the iceberg. And Ernest Hemingway's concept is that that is how good storytelling works, that you only give the audience the tip of the iceberg, and the bulk of what makes the narrative or the scene or the story is hidden beneath the surface, the subtext, beneath the ocean. And if you're effective enough with your storytelling, you will be able to convey all that is beneath the surface to your reader without actually telling them or saying it. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the concept show, don't tell. That is effectively what it is.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off this scene, and I'm not going to tell you anything about what this is. So I'm just going to start writing and creating the scene. And the idea is you're going to read this and you're going to see me constructing. I'll talk you through it. And you're going to see how the iceberg theory works, subtext works, and you will then at the end write in the comments of what you think is actually, or what you think happened in the scene and what you think is going on, okay? So I'm coming up with this as I'm going. So this isn't something that I've already pre-planned, but let us begin. So start with an exterior, and let's say this is anonymous city street, okay? Day, okay? And let's say a house. We're going to give it some context. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to create the area. And again, this is all without dialogue. So what we're going to do is just create an area or the environment or aura within which the story is going to be told. So we're going to say, so hollowed out vehicles, rusted, vines and weeds grow in through the steel husks, okay? So just like that, what we've done is we've given it a vibe, and we've given it a vibe of this is not the greatest neighborhood. So it's not the greatest neighborhood just from that, okay? And now that you do that, then you set the house. So a house sits on the end of the quiet street that runs through the low-rent neighborhood. Sound of sirens and traffic in the distance. Toyota pulls up outside the house and comes to a stop. Now, interior, Toyota, day. So notice, guys, we still haven't written any dialogue, okay? We still haven't written any dialogue. Now, what you can do is that you can give the Toyota a little bit of character as well. So a Toyota, dented, rear tail light missing, with one door clearly retrofitted from a different car. So let me put tail lights there, rear door, or actually, you know what, I'll put, and the driver side door, clearly retrofitted from a different car, pulls up outside the house and comes to a stop, okay? So that just gives it a bit of character in terms of the vehicle. And again, that gives you a little bit of an idea of like who the types of people we're dealing with over here, okay? Now, interior, Toyota, we have two characters, Wayne, let's call them Wayne and Daryl. Wayne, 20s, white, male, skinny, with a then t-shirt and jeans, bloodshot eyes, okay? And then we're going to go Daryl. No, actually, let's make Daryl. This actually will give a little bit of an interesting dynamic here. So we're going to go with, let's make Daryl a little bit older. Late 20s, Latin, male, average build. And let's give him in a, we don't even have to even define the clothing for him. Let's just leave that as that, okay? Driving. No, actually, let's just make Wayne driving, okay? Now, they come to a stop, and now we're going to do a little bit of dialogue. Wayne turns off the engine, and they sit in silence for a short while as they look at the house. Lights all off, but for one window on the top floor, okay? Now, this is where things get interesting. So you know I told you about Iceberg Theory. We've now written a whole section of material, and there's not been any dialogue. I haven't really given too much information, but it's giving you a good painting of the scenario, what we're dealing with, okay? Let me clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to scroll that up now. And what we're going to do is that we're going to put our first pieces of dialogue into this. And let's go Daryl. Okay, that's the exchange. Okay, now we're going to do something. All right, so Daryl, so we've got the conversation that they've had. So you see what I've done there. Now you look at that, and obviously I'm not going to say too much because the whole point of this is that I'm not going to tell you everything that's going on. The idea is that you're reading this and then you're going to be coming to your own conclusions as to what is going on here. What is really important as well is that you have to be aware that I haven't planned this. So typically what I would have done is that I would have already gotten an outline, I would have gone through the process and so on. I would have done a whole bunch of things whereby this would be coming from my outline. I haven't done that here, so I'm writing this on the fly, really as an exercise for myself as well, even, not just for you, but as an exercise for you just to understand how to show and not tell, and how to use the Iceberg Theory, the Ernest Hemingway concept, in terms of minimizing the amount of information and dialogue that you're putting on the page in order to get your points across. Okay. So put that right there. So let's say Daryl holds the gun out to Wayne. Wayne looks apprehensive. Let's put myself down there. Okay. Let us say so I could put that piece of dialogue. Yes, okay, let's leave that there. You know what? I don't even think we need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. Actually, you know what? I know what I'll do. Let me put that dialogue back. This is what we'll do here. So we will say, he holds it out, Wayne. Okay. He says, okay, there you go. So let me just go back to this. So make sure that you guys have taken all of that in. So that's the end of that first page. And you saw how quickly we generated that. So I'm just going to hold it there for a while. If you need to freeze the screen, I'm going to minimize myself so you can have a look at how this is constructed, because it's really important, because you're going to have to look back at this in order for you to answer the questions at the end of the video. So you read that, okay? If you need to pause it in order to read this whole piece of dialogue, because everything is here for a reason, okay? And then we go to the end of the page, all right? So let's go on to the next page. So actually, no, we're not on the next page yet. Wayne takes the gun from Daryl, and then Wayne is exiting the car. Daryl grabs car. Let me move this. Okay. Character Daryl is back. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So now we're in business, guys. So you notice this is all the dialogue that we've had. We've had that little bit piece there and that. That's all we've had. Now, this we don't even need. So I'm going to actually take this piece of dialogue out, because when the Wayne looks apprehensive, Daryl gestures again. I can take this out and the effect is exactly the same. Okay? We can talk about that, or you can leave me your comments as to why that's the same thing, but it's exactly the same thing. But so we take that out and then we move further down, and now we're into the scene here. So what we're going to do, and you see what I just did there, that's the sort of thing that
I will talk to you a little bit more about that. You can do, because it's all about editing. And, you know, I wrote that scene, but then I can reflect on it and say, you know what, I don't need that dialogue. I don't need that line. I don't need that word. I can move that around. Am I still effectively giving the message that I want out of the scene, out of the scenario, out of the exchange? Yes, you are. You take it out. So those sort of decisions are the kinds of things you need to make. But again, this is all iceberg theory, so to speak, because there is a whole piece of the iceberg in this scene so far that is beneath the water. Okay? So, interior, house, anonymous. Let's call it anonymous house. I like using anonymous so I don't have to, you know, come up with any denominations for these exercises, but typically you wouldn't do this. Like, you'd actually give it a bit more character, but this is just for the sake of the exercise. You know what I'm going to do, because guys are handing guns out here, let me make this a nighttime situation. So let's make that night. Let's change that to night. Okay, now it's your anonymous house night. Wayne gets up to the front door, and as he is about gets up to the front door, looks down and notices the door is unlocked, or the door is slightly ajar. He then glances again at the light on the top floor and instantly looks more anxious. Now, let me see. Glance again at the light on the top floor. Okay, let's leave that that way. All right. Glances back at Daryl in the Toyota, who gestures for him to go inside. Okay? Wayne enters the house slowly, pushing the door open. So let's actually say this is exterior because he's still outside the house. And then interior, he's now in the house here. Okay? So we've got night now. Notice again, there still hasn't been a lot of dialogue. I'm going to make myself a little smaller here so you can focus on the text. So there still isn't a lot of dialogue here. And what we're going to do is that you now set the scene of what's inside the house. So darkness, anonymous house, front room, darkness, silhouette of furniture and silhouettes of furniture. Let's just do it like that. Okay. Wayne creeps inside and sees that the television is still on with the volume low. A game show is on the screen. Okay. At that moment, Wayne scans the room and realizes the space is completely trashed. Okay. Actually, you know what? That might be too. Nah, we're gonna take that out. And notices an open pizza box. Yes, that's what we're gonna do on the coffee table. Okay, with a large cup of soda next to it. Okay, now Wayne focuses. The pizza has one slice half eaten on a dish and the rest untouched, but for a single slice. Let's do it like that. A single slice half eaten on a dish with the cup of soda completely full. Okay, got that? Great, that's better. Wayne turns to the stairs leading up to the second floor. He wraps his fingers around the gun and starts moving. Okay? Interior, anonymous house, top floor, bedroom, night. Okay, guys, are you with me now? So we've said a lot of the scene now. We've gotten, and I think we've got some nice momentum. But again, as you've noticed, we're 2 pages in. There's almost no dialogue. But hopefully, as you're seeing this, a very vivid image is being painted in your mind as to what is actually going on. We're not done yet because we're going to keep escalating this. But as I'm writing this out for you, hopefully it's painting in your mind, like your mind is filling in the gaps of what I'm not saying, okay? Because I'm not saying a lot. There's so much I could say that I'm not saying. So, and these are all details that visually, hopefully as you're reading it, you can tell from reading it what the visuals would look like, but it's painting its own story, okay? So, house, top floor, bedroom, night, okay? I mean, we're going to do some really, really interesting things during the course of this scene, which is why you're with me on this, but you're going to see some interesting things. And I actually cannot wait to see what you guys come up with in terms of what is really going on. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, because I'm going to put a nice few things in here, and I want to see what you guys come up with. All right, so it's an anonymous house, top floor, bedroom, Wayne. Let's just start with door. Close up, door, bedroom, door. Handle turns slowly. Wayne enters the room, stops cold. His face contorts in horror, steps back. A moment passes, steps back, and exits the room. Okay? Now, there's ways to construct sentences like this. I mean, this is the way I'm doing it, especially for this, but obviously you will have your own style. You'd have a way of doing things. I'm doing it like this. Obviously, this is a tutorial of sorts for you to actually see this in practice. But we're going to stop there. So steps back and exits the room. Okay? Now, interior, anonymous house, kitchen, night. Wayne enters the kitchen and looks around. No, actually doesn't even look around. No, let's not do that. Turns to the refrigerator. He moves it aside and then lifts up a tile from the space he has now revealed. There is a small hollowed out area. He reaches in and pulls out a plastic bag of cash, okay? And pulls out 2 large plastic bags of cash, okay? So he pulls out 2 large plastic bags of cash. Interior, Toyota, night, Daryl waiting in the car. Wayne enters and closes the door. Looks at Daryl. Wayne shakes his head. Daryl looks mildly remorseful, gives Wayne back the car keys. Wayne is about to start the car. Daryl, hey, okay? Wayne looks at him, takes out the gun and hands it back. Daryl, Wayne starts the engine. Exterior, anonymous streets, night. The Toyota reverses and goes back the way it came. And there you have it, guys. That is the end of the sequence. Now I'm going to scroll back each page so that you have the opportunity to pause and reread, okay? If you need to, so you can pause there. Then I'm going to scroll over there. Okay, scrolling over there. It's the next scene. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more context to this, just a little bit more. So you might need to look at this as well. But what we should do, let me just space this out a little bit. I want to create, because at first I wasn't going to do this, but I think that this would be helpful. Wayne creeps inside, sees the television is still on with the volume down, game shows on the screen. The television knocked off the table is still on. Okay, that's an important detail. One of the chairs is overturned. Some footprints, mud-trailed footprints are on the carpet and trailed out of the room. Now, what we need to do is actually at that moment stand there. Ernest when focuses. Okay, so actually, where do I want to place this? And then it knocked off the thing at that moment. Okay, this is good. I would actually like to put this section. So we're going to cut that and put that right there, and then put that right there. Yeah. Okay. So footprints on the carpet. Don't need that. Steps. Okay, that's it. All right. There we go. Okay, let me just read this again. So darkness, silhouettes of furniture. Wayne creeps inside and sees that the television is knocked off the table. Okay, the television, sorry, and sees the television knocked off the table is still on. You can put that still on with the volume low. A game show is on the screen. One of the chairs is overturned. An open pizza box on the coffee table with a large
cup of soda next to it, we're in focuses, okay? Put that out there. The pizza is untouched, but for a single slice, half eaten on a dish with a cup of soda completely full. Mud trail footprints are on the carpet and trailed out of the room. Wayne turns to the stairs leading up to the second floor, the muddy footprints on the first few steps. He wraps his fingers around the gun and starts moving. That's good. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to put this as a save file in the description for you guys as a PDF. I'm going to put this in the save file for you as in the description as a PDF so that you don't have to keep scrolling. I think that's the best way to do this. And you can just use it as reference. So I'm going to save this, put it in the description. It's also, you know, like I said, if you're on my newsletter, you'll be able to access some of my other materials as well. But I want you in the comments now to tell me what is going on, okay? Give me as much information as you can. I want you to give me like your full story of what you think is going on here. Fill in all the gaps, and I'm really curious to see what your thoughts are. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, check out the description for all my links. Sign up to my newsletter. Thanks.